Good morning. Thank you for coming to the Wild Center on this rainy, unfortunately not snowy morning. I'm Hillary Logan DeShane, and I'm the Director of Philanthropy here at the Wild Center. And on behalf of Stephanie Ratcliffe, our Executive Director, our board, and the rest of our staff, we are delighted to have you here. I thought I'd take a couple of minutes before we get into the presentation to explain a little bit about what this project is and what we're going to be seeing today. The project that we're presenting today is the result of a study that was done with funds that the Wild Center received through the CFA process. We received a grant from Market New York in 2014 to do a study as part of an application that we made to do some marketing for the Wild Center, but also one of the things we wanted to do was do a study to figure out how to reach the next generation of Adirondack visitors. And the reason that topic was so broad was that the Wild Center figured that if we could determine the best way, let me back up for a second. We knew that there was a whole group of people, the Millennials, who we were not quite reaching. And we knew that this was the next big group of, the next big demographic group. You know, everybody's been reading about it. We know it's this massive group, and we'll get into a little bit more about that in a couple of minutes. But we also knew we weren't getting a lot of people from that group. So we wanted to figure out how to drill down and reach that market. And not just generally how to reach that market with the stuff that we can all Google online about what's unique about millennials, but what specifically would we find out about millennials that was the Adirondack gene? You know how you have some friends that you might have had to your house or your camp in the Adirondacks, and some of them really love it, and the other ones really never want to come back? You know, it's either they like the Adirondacks or they don't. It's some people have that Adirondack affinity and some people don't. Well, there's something about some people that really love what we have to offer up here, and some people, it might not be their cup of tea. Well, what is that? And how do we figure out what that is? And are there ways that we can predict some people who might be predisposed to liking what we have to offer? And what exactly do we have to offer? And do we really understand that fully? Is there a way for us to understand that better? And is there a way for us to match that up with this millennial market? So we figured out who the best firm in the country was to work with to study millennials, and that happens to be Shearson Associates. And they do research, and I'll introduce you to Andy Pimentel soon. He's right here, and he'll be making the presentation. They do work with Viacom and Microsoft and other major corporations, big research projects for those kind of corporations on millennials. So they know this demographic very well. And they did this study for us, for the Adirondacks. Why did the Wild Center care about the whole region? Well, if people come to the region, if they come to the Wild Center, they're going to want to do more than just come to the Wild Center. They're going to want to stay here. They're going to want to eat somewhere, do other things. So we have to know what they want to do with their whole visit. So it's important for the whole region to have this information. So that's basically why we wanted to do a whole regional study of how do we attract the next generation of visitors for the whole region.